Pac-12 cancels their season.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's starting to do that now.
Yeah, man, and I think our interview on Talking Baseball with Mark Adanasio comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
And I'm interested to see the reaction. People are more excited than I think I anticipated, which is cool. I'm interested to see their feedback, but, you know, like being honest, we did some, hey, the season's, knock on wood, outside of the Cardinals stuff right now, the MLB is doing really well. Like they're going with the season, and I think, people might think that's kind of soft or coming from a few weeks ago when baseball was really struggling, times were kind of bad, but now that you're seeing huge college football programs and sports having to tap out, I think it shows that baseball really is doing something impressive.
It gets easier. Like, it's really easy for hockey with the bubble, really easy with NHL with the bubbles, NBA. Baseball gets harder because you have more players, you have more moving parts, you have longer games and more games because they're kind of in playoffs and going into playoffs. College football and NFL. There's so many things going on in college football. One, shots fired right away. Most of college football lives in the areas that aren't taking this seriously at all and are the reason it's still going.
It's true.
Two, college football is like 50-man rosters.
Yeah.
So many people that you can't all right, let's put these guys in the stands to separate them. Let's open up a second clubhouse underneath to get some space during rain delays. Baseball, it's bigger rosters, but you can still do that stuff. College football, they're not being paid.
No.
So you open yourself up to a lot of legal trouble and stuff with a guy doesn't want to play. Well, can you force him to? Well, he's not being paid to play. It's a headache. And I think the biggest thing is the money there without the gate? For some of these. Now, SEC, I'm sure their TV rights are crazy.
Right.
Insane. Pac-12?
There's money,
but you know what I'm saying? So that, I don't know the numbers, but I would guess everything I just said, the headache, they're not being paid players, and then the return without a gate. Granted, they don't have to pay their players. It's so sloppy. So I understand why it's the hardest of all of them to get going.
And kind of what you stumbled into, and I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but I think the SEC is going to figure something out. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's messy, but the SEC has the most money tied to it. And again, money's kind of what steers the ship with all of this. It's why baseball's playing. SEC is going to have the most money. If they're the only game in town, I think that leads to even more money for them. I mean, the eyes they would get on Saturdays if there's only SEC college football. And, dude, they're also, just the loose things that tied to it that can make it a lot easier, between boosters with money that normally donate to the university, chip in a little more to have, private planes and stuff. And I don't know. I think they'll find a way, but I still don't know what that looks like. And maybe they don't, but they're going to put up a hell of a fight in the South.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all going to come down. SEC may be the only one standing because the money might be worth it.
Right.
Some of these smaller conferences, it cannot be worth it.
No, and that's why it was easy for them to cancel, because a lot of them make their money by these big teams playing them.
Yeah.
So that's where, UConn, proudly the first to tap out. But yeah, a lot of the smaller conferences started tapping out like it wasn't even a decision anymore. They're like, well, if we are not getting the $2 million when Michigan beats us, we can't make a season out of that. So, yeah, well, I think it's going to be fun to watch to see how the SEC tries to survive. I wonder if they even go even weirder with it, because I know Clemson is battling because they've been star-studded the past few years, and they really want to play, and Dabo's a little bit of a nut job. So I wonder if NCAA gets funky like baseball did, making new divisions and stuff. I wonder if they have, the big programs tap in
just
for
to do
a year.
something.
That kind of be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so many guys, and they're not paid athletes,
Yeah.
and that's the tricky thing. Like, it's not their profession. Where a lot of these baseball players were like, "This is my job.
Right.
This is how I make a living. I'm down." A lot of these young kids, I'm sure they're down because they want to play, and I mean, every single study says that boys from age 18 to 22 can't make proper decisions, and I'm living proof of that. So, like,
I had to apologize to BBD yesterday. I apologize to BBD once a week now for saying stuff about being young and dumb. BBD's like, I don't really like regret my past. I would say I regret my past. Let me dig into.
No, I did say. I said you should always look back 5 years and feel shame. I think that's exactly what I said.
yeah, that's
As being
a sign of
hyperbolic.
growth.
a form of shame. Yeah.
Not shame. Obviously, you shouldn't feel shame, but you should be a little embarrassed.
Well, let's
at
say
least.
this: when the Phillies and the Marlins and the news at the time was that the Marlins took a team vote to play, our response was, "You can't let the athletes
Right.
decide. They're not the well." Take that to young
Right.
teenage boys. You cannot let them. It's almost just terrible to give them the option. Hey, do you want to play or not play? So they're all going to say play.
Right, and that's the other thing that probably segues us. I think it segued us yesterday as well, but look at the Cleveland Indians thing with Plesac and Clevenger.
Yeah.
And now bring in kids that are 8 years younger and just dumb. Like, if they set up a bubble or testing or however they have to do it, these kids are so dumb.